What's good? What's good? Complete athletes out there in Facebook land. Coach Ronnie here. Crazy morning. I've been driving all over the place. So I had to. I ran. My anti-rejection medication was running low for my kidney transplant to the point I ran out. And it's crazy how you feel that. Um, it's crazy how you feel the effects of that. Because I just took had to go to Walgreens down in Johns Creek. The minute I took the medication, everything that I was feeling went away. So that was letting me know that medication is definitely doing its job. If you had an organ transplant, stay on your anti-rejection meds. Because yeah, definitely felt the effect. I feel made a 180, right? So, but busy running around. I had another live right after this one, a Monday motivation I do with my Life Wave team. Shout out to them. But let's dive into this thing. Bottom line is, sports are all mental, first and foremost. Period. We see it in so many of the top athletes. I put a video up last week on Tom Brady, and basically the video talks about how his success started with a conversation from a mental coach. His success started with that. So it's mental first and foremost, right? So we're going to dive into this thing. So let's get after it. Let me pull up my thing here. So before your body moves, your mind makes a decision. Before you explode off the line, you shoot the shot or swing the bat, your mindset either clears the way or clutters it, right? I've trained athletes over the 2 decades, from pros all the way down to my middle school athletes. And I can tell you this, the one thing that separates them all is, yes, there's, not the stronger, not the faster. It's they're more mentally prepared, more focused, and more consistent when pressure hits, all right? So Dave, we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about why your mindset controls your performance, how to train it just like the body, and simple strategies to start unlocking the mental edge. So whether you're a parent, an athlete, or a coach, stay tuned, get out your pen, get out your pad, because this could be the difference between being average and being elite, all right? And as always, we have so many new people rolling into this group, and I am so blessed to be a part of that. So much gratitude here. I want to thank you all for joining. And just in case you don't know who I am Ronnie Kenyatta, aka Coach Ronnie. I'm a former professional baseball strength conditioning coach. I worked within the New York Mets organization for 12 years, and where I help players get stronger, faster, minimize injuries. And I do the same for you or your athletes today, but I add a mental twist to it. My goal is to build a rock solid mindset for all of my athletes, creating a complete athlete. A complete athlete is an athlete that's prepared mentally and physically for everything that takes place on the field, on the court, or in life. That's my story. I'm sticking to it. Now let's dive into this thing, all right? How to train the mind like your body, right? How to train them as one. So that may sound kind of impossible maybe, but it can be done. We just have to change our perspective on things a little bit, right? Change how we look at the brain in relation to the body. The brain gets tired just like the body. The brain can be a muscle, similar to a muscle, just like the muscles on the body. So we need to look at those as one, right? So I'm going to go over some techniques that are used to train the mind as body as one, or train the mind as the body. The sun is finally out. Let me turn this light off. Sun is finally out. Beautiful, beautiful. All right, so how to train your mind like your body. We'll start with neural priming, or brain warm-ups. So what is that? Just like your body needs a warm-up, so does your brain. Neural priming uses reactive drills at cognitive games to activate the decision-making centers of your brain before a workout or game. I love that. I do variations of this with my athletes, but it's not as, I guess, the intent is your work, not powerful. The intent, is the intent is not there, right? I'm looking to challenge the athletes from a cognitive perspective. I know that difference, whether it's hearing, vision, the different senses. I like to challenge them while we're doing our agility work mostly. So yes, I do it, but I like this because it's more intentional, and that's going to give me more ideas, and hopefully it'll give you all some ideas as well. So basically, you're doing your speed work and you're challenging the mind at the same time. That's what this neural priming is. Now, why does it work? Research from the Journal of Cognitive Enhancement shows that pre-activation of executive functions boosts reaction time. Pre-activation of executive functions boosts reaction time, processing speed and focus, especially in high stress, fast-paced sports like soccer or basketball. All right. So there's different ways to do this. One way that's listed is you can use apps like Neural Tracker, Intel Gym, or Focus Calm before your practice, or you can take 3 to 5 minutes of pattern recognition, number grids, or dual tasking reaction games, primes for a tasking reaction game primes your nervous system. All right, so you can use apps or you can use games. Like I said, number grid drills or dual tasking reaction games, and that's going to prime that mind for decision making that you have to make on the field, right, instantly, right? So that's what that's about. All right, task switching under fatigue, cognitive load training. And what is this? This involves adding a mental challenge while under physical fatigue, like solving problems or reacting to unpredictable cues while sprinting or doing footwork. Like I said, this is something I will do, but not with the intent or the specificity as mentioned here. All right, so why does this work? Studies from the Loughborough University 2020, Loughborough University shows athletes who train under cognitive load have faster decision making under fatigue and reduced stress response in pressure situations. So when everything is on the line, task switch under fatigue is enabling athletes to perform that much better because they're used to performing at a high level when their nervous system is fried or they're tired, right? So now how do we practice this? All right. Well, this is right along the lines of something I do, right? You do a speed ladder or cone drill while answering mental math or recall questions. All right. Again, not the math side from my perspective or the mental side, but we do have the senses. That's what I would do. So, but again, do a speed ladder or cone drill while answering mental math or recall questions. Sprint stop on color cues. Now we're talking. Sprint/stop on color cues, not voice cues. Forces faster visual processing. Yes, this is one of my favorites. I actually do this on a regular basis. Whenever we do agility, this is one of the things I like to do. Practice footwork while calling out positions or play options. I like that one. Again, practice footwork while calling out positions or play options. See, this is something great that I'm going to start implementing with my quarterbacks because, that's a great example of somebody who's working, making decisions on the fly, right? So yes, definitely, if you're a football coach or parent, you might want to look into that. Again, I'll say it one more time for you all. Practice footwork while calling out positions or play options, all right? So that's something that's definitely worth giving a shot. And then there's HRV. These are some of the tools that you can use, I believe. HRV, that's one of my favorites. This is something I practice on a regular basis, and I wish I had my darn heart math with me. It's in my room. I use the heart math. It measures HRV with heart rate variability, all right? And what is that? It's a measure of the body's ability to adapt to stress. Athletes with high HRV recover better and perform more consistently. Now, I'll tell you how HRV helps me, or the the heart math tool helps me. I've always had this internal anxiety like it felt deathly. It felt like it was gonna take my life at times. Um, I could go into stories when I was with the Mets, and all I had to do was speak in public, and it was like my life was on the line. And it wasn't me that was scared; it was all internal. My body, for some reason, just didn't like public speaking. And this wasn't something gradual. This was back in high school. This goes back to middle school, elementary. I experienced it all through life. It just got worse and worse. And thank God it reached its peak. I say that now. Thank God it reached its peak when I was with the Mets. Total exposure. I had to do something because it was embarrassing and it was just losing credibility and respect constantly. And I had to do something. And that's when the process just started, right? I got to the Inner Balance app or the Heart Math. I've been on that from a friend of mine for about. I was introduced way back in like 2008 or 9, I believe. I've been using it consistently for about 2 years. When I tell you, when I get up to speak and my nervous system no longer reacts, no longer is paralyzed with fear, it's to the point where I stand up and I'm almost like looking for a feeling, trying to feel the reaction. There's literally nothing there anymore. And I was doing a lot of work on my own, but that Inner Balance app, that Heart Math, was the thing that took it to the next level. Over time, I was able to literally quiet my mind and think about nothing. All right? Just picture a black screen, and that was it. And when that started happening, that's when this process started to happen, right? And to the point where I am now, I did it this morning. And to the point where I can quiet my mind, and I get some of my highest scores ever on a level 4 of the app, which is, according to my friend that introduced it to him, he says that's crazy that you can do that, you know. So, got off a tangent. I just had to talk to you about my story with the Inner Balance app, or that measures heart rate variability. And again, it's a measure of your body's ability to adapt to stress. Athletes with HRV recover better and perform more consistently. Why it works. Data from Stanford Human Performance Lab shows athletes who track their HRV and adjust training based on readiness levels saw a 30% increase in recovery efficiency and reduced burnout. All right, so they talk about how the triad, the apps that they mention are Whoop, HRVK training, or Cura Ring to measure HRV daily. I'm going to drop the one I recommend because I use it every day, the Heart Math tool. I'm going to drop that in the comments. Get over to that. I got mine on eBay for about $199. They're more expensive than that. I think they're they're $300. But I got mine on, like I said, on eBay for $199, I believe it was, and it works fine. It's been working fine for years. So those are the tools. If HRV is low, reduce volume and increase breath work. If high, go full throttle. And then I just told you my Inner Balance story. So, all right. So just to summarize everything before we close out here. So there are ways that you can train the brain just like the body. And that's necessary because everything is mental first and foremost. Period. Right? Without your mind activating your nervous system, you're not doing much that day on the field or on the court or in life, right? So everything is mental first. So why don't we train the mind just as we do with the body? And we have ways to do that. Neural priming is number 1. Task switching under fatigue is number 2, right? Measuring your HRV, your heart rate variability, that's another thing. So these are all ways you can do this. Now, I'm going to give you some actionable activities, things you can do. You might have an idea what they are. Have an idea what they are is one thing. Taking action is another, as you know. All right. So if you want to get that edge over your athletes, try these actionable activities. Number 1, cognitive fatigue and speed combo. That's something, I think of everything I talked about, that's the easiest one. You can do that now. Deliberately recreate high pressure scenarios in training to develop composure and rapid recalibration. Why does this work? The U.S. Olympic Committee calls this stress inoculation. It boosts your brain ability to stay cognitively flexible when adrenaline spikes. That's huge, right? That's huge. How to try it? You can set up the cone drills. Set up cone drills at 10-yard sprint and change directions. Set up your cones or a sprint drill like a 10-yard burst, Before each sprint, flash a random number or math problem on a whiteboard or phone screen. Athletes must solve the problem aloud while sprinting or as soon as they finish the first rep. Why does this work? This stimulates the decision-making load under physical stress, just like in a game. It strengthens the connection between the cognitive control and the motor performance. That's huge, right? A concept supported by cognitive load training studies from Loughborough University. I mentioned it earlier. That's one way you can do it, right? The second is the mental reset protocol. The mental reset protocol. What it trains: emotional regulation, focus, reset, mental recovery after mistakes. All right. So, how to do it? Have athletes build a simple, repeatable reset routine they use after every error or tough rep. One deep breath in or out, one cue, next play, stay calm, one word, cue word. It could be next play, it could be calm, it could be lock in, and one small action. You can clap, stomp, whatever, snap your fingers, whatever it takes. Use this in the middle of a workout or a scrimmage anytime frustration or fatigue hits, right? And why it works is used by Olympic athletes and Navy SEALs. It helps the brain release emotional tension and return to a calm, focused state within seconds without losing the competitive intensity. I love that. I do that with my athletes, but my mindset athletes will do that before or after a game, but I can't wait to talk to them about doing it in game, because I just see how it brings you. Everything evolves around the cycle of mindfulness, right? The cycle of mindfulness, you're focused, your brain wanders, you acknowledge the wandering, and you bring it back to focus. That's the circle that's going on 24/7 in our lives, right? So I love the fact that they implement this during games. This is a great tool right here, so I plan on implementing that. So that is it. I have to be at the facility at 11:30. Crazy day to day, but we got this in. I hope you guys take advantage of it. I'll put the HeartMath in the comments, and I'll put these in the comments as well. These actionable activities that you guys can start practicing. But for now, I'm going to head to the facility. Have a great day. Have a great week. I will see you here in the group. And remember that announcement. We're going to have a parent, myself, segment, a Facebook Live. We're talking to the parent now on Fridays, where we get together and discuss, parents' thought on travel sports and travel sports, high school sports, all levels of sports. So be on the lookout for that, all right? But that's all I have. You guys have a great week. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.